Okay, so picture this. You're sitting down to a delicious chicken dinner, and your Shih Tzu is giving you those puppy dog eyes, right? You know the ones.
Yeah, we've all been there.
And we've all heard it a million times. Dogs can't have chicken bones. But what if that's not the whole story? That's what we're diving into today with this piece from Billy's Paw. It's a blog all about natural care for Shih Tzus.
Interesting.
Yeah, and get this. They're saying Shih Tzus can eat chicken bones. But there's a pretty big caveat, so obviously we need to unpack this whole thing.
Definitely. So like we're busting some myths today.
Totally. To be fair, the article starts off pretty normal. They say cooked chicken bones, those are a hard no, just like we've always been told.
Right, and for good reason.
Exactly. They even go into detail about how dangerous they are, splintering, choking, punctures. Basically, cooked chicken bones are like little landmines in your dog's food bowl.
It's not pretty. And it's not just about scaring people. There's actually a scientific reason why cooked bones are so bad.
Oh, I was just going to ask about that. What makes them so dangerous?
Well, it's all about what happens to the bone during cooking. You're essentially removing all the moisture and collagen.
Yeah.
Those are the things that give bones their flexibility.
Okay, so it dries them out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're left with this brittle material that can easily splinter into sharp shards. And here's the kicker. Those shards aren't easily digestible.
Uh-oh, that can't be good.
Nope, not at all. Those shards can cause all sorts of problems, irritation, choking, even punctures or blockages. Sometimes it even requires surgery.
So cooked bones are definitely a no-go. But here's where it gets interesting. Billy's Paw says raw chicken bones are a different story. They're arguing they're not only safe, but actually good for Shih Tzus.
Now, that's a bold claim.
Right. Their reasoning is that dogs have been gnawing on raw bones for, like, forever. It's natural.
I mean, it's true from an evolutionary standpoint.
Yep.
Think about their ancestors, wolves in the wild. Their diets were full of raw, meaty bones.
So you're saying their stomachs are basically designed for that kind of thing?
Exactly. Their digestive systems are incredibly efficient at breaking down those raw bones, getting all the good nutrients. They have super strong stomach acid that helps break it all down, and their digestive tracts are built to handle it.
So their bodies are really built for it. It makes you wonder why we even worry about it in the first place.
It's definitely interesting to think about. And the article actually shares this story almost like a turning point about Billy, the blog author's Shih Tzu.
Oh, yeah, I read about that. It was pretty remarkable.
So apparently Billy had chronic diarrhea, like really bad. They were trying everything. And then raw bones. Problem solved.
It almost sounds too good to be true. I mean, can it really be that simple? Just give your dog some raw bones and all their problems are gone.
Well, it's important to remember every dog is different. What works for one Shih Tzu might not work for another. And it's crucial to consult with your vet, especially before making any big changes to their diet.
Makes sense. So it's not quite as easy as just swapping out their kibble for a pile of chicken bones.
Right, it's a little more nuanced than that. But the article does do a good job of highlighting some common myths about Shih Tzus and bones.
Yeah.
It lists 3, actually.
Yeah, I remember that part. It's like, all bones are dangerous for Shih Tzus. Bones will make your small dog's intestines explode. Okay, maybe not that dramatically, but you get the idea. And Shih Tzus don't even need bones in their diet.
Haha, yeah, they were definitely making a point.
So let's break it down. What's the truth about these myths?
Well, we've already tackled the first one. The cooked versus raw distinction is key. And as for that second one, about bones causing blockages. Again, it's all about choosing the right size and type of bone.
So what, like, we're not giving a Shih Tzu a giant ham bone?
Exactly. We're talking about smaller, softer bones, chicken wings, chicken necks. Those are going to be much easier for them to digest, especially for a smaller breed.
Okay. No giant ham bones for these guys. Got it. But what about that last myth? It seems counterintuitive, but do dogs actually need bones in their diet?
They really do. Raw bones are a fantastic natural source of nutrients that dogs need. Calcium, phosphorus, other minerals, those are all crucial for healthy bones, strong teeth. And gnawing on a raw bone, it's like nature's toothbrush. Helps scrape away plaque and tartar.
So it's like a win-win. They're getting a tasty treat and improving their dental health. But I have to say, I've heard some vets advise against giving dogs bones, period. How does that fit in with everything we're talking about?
That's a really good point, and it speaks to a broader issue in veterinary care, that difference between traditional and holistic approaches.
Ooh, that's an interesting distinction. I bet a lot of our listeners aren't familiar with that. Can you elaborate?
Absolutely. So traditional veterinary training often focuses on treating illnesses or injuries, right? And while nutrition is part of it, there hasn't always been a strong emphasis on, say, raw food diets.
So it's not that one is right and one is wrong. They're just different perspectives.
Exactly. And with raw feeding becoming more popular, there's more research backing up the benefits. However, even within holistic practices, there are still valid concerns about doing it safely, doing it correctly.
That makes sense. Any big dietary change comes with some level of risk. So for our listeners who are thinking about trying raw bones, what should they keep in mind? It sounds like basically raw bones can be great, but we're not just throwing them a bone and hoping for the best.
Right. It takes a little more thought than that. And the article actually has some good advice, practical stuff that I totally agree with.
Oh, good. Let's hear it. What's our first step if we're thinking, okay, raw bones sound interesting, I want to give this a try?
Honestly, start with your vet. Find one who knows about raw feeding, ideally. They can help you make a plan that's actually safe for your Shih Tzu. Every dog's different. They might have things to consider like age, how healthy they are in general, stuff like that.
So vet first, find the right one. Then what about the bones themselves? Anything special we need to know there?
Yeah, the article talks about starting with smaller bones, softer ones. They gave the example of chicken necks. Those are supposed to be pretty easy to digest, even for a little guy.
Makes sense to start small.
They're also big on supervision. Like while the dog's actually eating the bone, got to keep an eye on them. And fresh bones only, obviously. No leftovers.
Yeah, common sense stuff, but good to be reminded. Can't be too careful.
Exactly. Oh, and they say variety is good too.
Yeah.
Just like you'd mix up their regular food, right?
Yeah.
Different bones have different nutrients. Plus, keeps things interesting for your pup.
This is wild, I have to say. We started off thinking, never ever give your dog chicken bones, and now raw bones are on the table. Literally. Who knew?
That's the cool part. There's always more to learn about how to keep our dogs healthy. Stuff changes all the time. New research comes out.
So stay curious.
Yes, exactly. Be curious, do your research, and talk to your vet. That's how you figure out what's best for your dog.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This deep dive has given us a lot to chew on, pun intended. But until next time, keep those tails wagging and those minds curious about how to keep our furry friends happy and healthy.